And welcome back as we wrap up the week of What If with part 8 of What If Kid Goku Died and Trade with King Kai. Now, I always want to address a couple things that hand motions. Yeah, let me emphasize with my hand movements. So I always like to just address some of the things people bring up in the comments, particularly when they bring them up and they're pertinent to the story and why I don't do certain things or why this happened because of this. And I do it at the beginning quickly of the video because it's easier to get my point across talking and visually seeing me than just writing it out. So first off, Cell. The current timeline Cell is still alive, and someone asked, wouldn't Cell be stronger because more information is being collected? No, Cell isn't an android like 19 or Jiro, or technically they're cyborgs, let's be fair, or 16 or anything like that. 16 actually might be more capable because he gets more information. But Cell is a bioorganic life form. Cell's power comes from the DNA of individuals that have been added to there. Even if they went and collected more DNA from like Raditz or Goku or whatever, that doesn't increase Cell's overall power. It's just the innate DNA he starts with. And Cell is also designed to evolve with 18 and 17 through absorption and fusion. So Cell wouldn't be more stronger just because the Z fighters get stronger. If there's more fighters like that show up on the planet, like if Boo somehow if Boo has DNA, which as far as we know, Boo does not have DNA, although Boo does have like a digestive system and all that stuff. Then yeah, Boo's DNA could be added theoretically. Deborah's, Bobby's DNA could be added theoretically, but no, if Cell would wake up, they'd probably sense Cell's emergence. And eventually they'd take care of him because there's no 18 or 7. The 18 and 17 in his time are now gone, and there's no time machine in this timeline. So he's kind of SOL. Eventually he might start running amok again. They'll take him out. But someone did address a quick question. It's like they disagreed with my treatment of Gohan, that Gohan would probably be just as strong as he would now. And like they think Chi-Chi would. I'm not gonna name the names. I'm just gonna bring out. I am going to though. Find said individual's comment real quick, because it is a fair comment to make. And it's the same comment I get a lot of people on my case about Gohan about. It's like, Gohan should be stronger because of this, this, and this. Well, just because this didn't happen doesn't mean Gohan wouldn't be strong. So it's a slightly long comment, but I will say it. They disagree with the underuse of Gohan. If Chi-Chi knew early on that Gohan was not human, she may have let him train. Notice she said may, not would. First off, you're not stating a factual opinion, which I guess we're making that up. An opinion that's based off of like, yeah, she would do this because of this. You're more speculating that he would. But she may let him train much more, like what she did with Goten. So I see him being the same strength as before, but not as fearful. As an adult, he would have bad powers of present-day Gohan. You have to understand the difference in the relationship between Goten and Gohan. She wanted Gohan to be. She knew the fighter's lifestyle and all that, and she knew the lifestyle they had. She wanted something better for her firstborn than that. I don't even think Chi-Chi planned to have Goten. She just ended up pregnant, and Goten is much different personality-wise than Gohan. She saw more of Goku in Goten than she did in Gohan. So because she already had a son who was, training to be something better or raised or studying to be something better, she at that time decided to focus her efforts on at least, making sure Goten was up to snuff. But more importantly, and I think this is the real catch thing here, and I'm only going to go about another minute so we can get into the actual chapter or part, is that Chi-Chi, not enough about Chi-Chi has changed to allow Gohan to be that. That's the thing. For the changes you want for Gohan to be that much stronger, you either have to make sure he still gets kidnapped by Piccolo, because that was the big catalyst in the originals, that he got kidnapped by Piccolo. Piccolo learned to fight, learned to survive, and eventually overcame his fears, and that's what really kicked Gohan off. But if that doesn't happen, which it doesn't in this, then you have to have Chi-Chi be more willing to allow Gohan to train. And to some extent, she has been in this version because, Goku stayed in touch. They made the gravity chamber, all that. So Gohan has hung out with that and trained a little bit, but nothing really about their relationship between Chi-Chi, Goku, and Gohan has changed enough that she would just openly allow him to train. That hasn't changed about her personality. Again, Raditz showing up softened the blow a little bit. Gohan could easily take on, once we get past the 7 years, he could have taken on Frieza, sure, assuming I gave him Super Saiyan, which I don't think I would, frankly, because it's not who he is as a character in this version. But he could have taken on Frieza with Super Saiyan. Yeah, he could have done that. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So that's what happens when either Chi-Chi's personality hasn't changed, or if something drastic hasn't changed to allow Gohan to train. It's just not that, because that's the way she wanted Gohan to be. And if Gohan hadn't gotten that experience in life, he'd still be the cowardly little kid he was. So with that said, now that we're 6 minutes in, last time we had Cell defeated by Goku and Raditz. Everyone, Trunks goes back to his own time. Everything's all hunky-dory. Well, now you get the 7-year time skip. Now, Hercule Satan is still the martial arts champ, sure, but that's because none of the other guys have really gone out of their way to, try to be a martial arts champ. Because, let's be honest, it'd be an easy gig, sure, but there's not a huge reason behind it. Like, Yamcha actually makes a good living being a baseball player. Krillin is a cop in Super. I don't know what he was doing for money prior to that. Roshi has some sort of funds somehow. He's clearly got power. He's probably got a generator or something like that. Tien doesn't care about the money. So, yeah, like the human Z-Fighters wouldn't have gone out. So Hercule's still a martial arts champion, never defeated Cell. So it's not the world champion Hercule Satan. He's not that, but he's still Mr. Satan. He's still Mr. Satan. One second. Wet whistle. So there's that. And now you're just asking the question, what are these guys doing in the training? With training during the 7-year time skip? Well, I do believe Tien and Chaozu do still go on their own. Yamcha and Krillin still hang around, sure. Krillin's arc is a little different because he's not married to 18 in this version. Although you could make an argument that, well, no, Cell didn't actually kill 17 or 18. I was about to say that out loud. Because he absorbed them. They were still technically living inside of him, hence why he was able to throw up 18. They were merged just into one living being, but they were still technically alive. So they don't really, because they kill Cell, therefore they kill 18 and 17, they wouldn't be brought back with the Dragon Balls. So take that for what it's worth. 16 is still just sleeping in the thing. Obviously, during the 7-year time skip, Cell comes and they kill Cell. But really, the important training that might be going on is with Krillin, Yamcha, Raditz, and Goku. And to just sum up Gohan real quick, like I said, I would put him probably at like his initial Super Saiyan power. Assuming he has Super Saiyan, which I don't think he does. But if you can make an argument for him having it, sure. I ultimately don't think it plays a big factor for this story, though, even if he had it. They do. Goku and Chi-Chi still have Goten, so Goten is born. I actually think Raditz, because Raditz I think would actually be a more attentive husband. They do have Bra earlier on. So like Trunks and Gohan are the same age. Bra is just a baby, kind of like Pan would have been. But yeah, you still get that. Where do Krillin, Yamcha, Goku, and Raditz stand on their training? Well, Krillin and Yamcha, they're going to be as strong as they can be, but they're going to be footnotes, unfortunately, compared to the Saiyans. Unfortunately, that was just the way it played out. Piccolo is also around too, and he's pretty much come full circle at this point. Like, he's probably where he was at, like, around Dragon Ball Z, like mid-Dragon Ball Z, like probably around the Saiyans, Namek Saga, early Android Saga. Like, he's cool with the group at this point, because he's recognized that there's no point in taking over the world. He's helpful. He actually trains a lot with Goku when he gets a chance, because, he's found a solid rival in Goku, and it's helped increase him leaps and bounds. Should note, I may mention the last one, through, communicating with King Kai, all that. They agreed to they agreed. Dende agreed to be the willing candidate. That was the word I was looking for last time. I was struggling with the word. The willing candidate to be the next guardian of the guardian of the Earth. So they pass on the mantle of guardian to Dende. Piccolo and Kami says we might as well fuse. Piccolo. I was like, what? You'll get a much greater power up. You'll be basically my collective wisdom. It'll increase your power to basically 100-fold. Well, not 100-fold, but it's a ×2 power up, so doubling your power. And you've got it kind of like I kind of think of the Unohana speech a little bit to Kenpachi, saying you've got more fights to live, more rivals to face, and they'll say it'll help increase your power past that. It's like and Piccolo's like, all right, fine. They fuse, and by the time they do it in like the beginning of the 7-year time skip, Piccolo would probably be around the Android Saga level at that point. He can't take on Goku Radz at this point, but he's around that level of power. Dende obviously becomes the Guardian. They get the Dragon Balls. Woo. So you factor in the 7-year time skip. Piccolo, he's now able to actually truly compete because he's been spending 7 years not just training on his own like he was initially, but also training with Goku and Radz. So he's been getting some big buffs. So he can actually compete with them. Not strong as them, per se, but can compete with them. Like I said, Yamcha, Krillin, they do what they can, and they train with Piccolo too, and it's, solid, but unfortunately it's just not enough to really be relevant for a lot of the story now. Again, until we get to Super. But obviously Radz and Goku are the big question. Now, obviously they have Super Saiyan, and over 7 years, of course, they'd get perfect Super Saiyan down. But what's beyond it? Do they go Super Saiyan 2? Does Goku somehow make Super Saiyan 3? Well, no, there's no way Goku in this story, at least at this point, has Super Saiyan 3. The reason for that is if Goku manages Super Saiyan 2 before the 7-year time skip, that's when I'm okay with us saying he achieved Super Saiyan 3 within the 7-year or prior to. That's when I'm okay with him saying he achieved it during the 7-year time skip. But he only had just had Super Saiyan. What I do think you'll see is not Super Saiyan 2 per se, but let me rephrase that. Yes, they'd have Super Saiyan 2 because it is the next logical step. But because they have the Ikari form, they would also have Ikari Super Saiyan added onto that, which is not Ikari Super Saiyan 2. I need to be very clear on that. Ikari Super Saiyan, which would be a 10 times multiplier versus the ×2 then ×4, which ultimately means it's not a ×8. That's not how math works, obviously. If I remember correctly, Super Saiyan 3 is about a 400 times multiplier. When you actually break it down from your base, whereas Ikari plus Super Saiyan is about a 50 times multiplier, or 500 times multiplier, I should say, from your base. But the difference between the two levels, the difference between the two Super Saiyan forms is that Super Saiyan 2 is much more easy to maintain than Ikari Super Saiyan would be. In terms of appearance, you really wouldn't see much of a change with Ikari Super Saiyan from regular Super Saiyan, except I think it would look... You know how Goku's hair looks when he's Super Saiyan 4, that really wild black mane he's got? Think something akin to that, but it's just golden. I think that's kind of what you'd be getting here. And I think it still look pretty awesome. It would still look really cool. And Radz is very similar, except he's just a giant mess of hair. In fact, I could actually see Radz cutting his hair. Yeah, Vegeta saying, Saiyan's hair stays the same since it was born. Stays its natural length ever since it was born. That means man, that must have been awkward giving birth to Raditz thing, because that was just a ball of hair. Either way. So that's kind of where you see Goku and Radz at. They have Ikari Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, and normal Super Saiyan. Ikari is kind of more your version of Kaioken added on to Super Saiyan, something that they're capable of doing. But it's really harsh on the body, so they don't do it unless they have to. And really they can only maintain it for maybe a few moments at a time, even after 7 years time skip. Again, it is basically an equivalent of Kaioken in some ways. But anyway, we fast forward now to the Buu saga, and Gohan meets Videl. Now, I don't think Videl would be less interested in Gohan than you'd think. Yes, he comes from far away, but because they spend so much time at Capsule Corp, you can just make an argument that he spends a lot of time at Capsule Corp during the week and then heads actually home on the weekends. And I think that's an excuse they can make up. I also don't think she'd be very interested in him because while he is very strong still, he's not like Golden Fighter or anything like. He's not like blowing a car up just by firing a shockwave and screaming. That's no. Unfortunately, you're not seeing that go on. Nor is he the Great Saiyaman. So surprisingly, Vidal's interest in Gohan isn't very high. That being said, that doesn't mean Gohan doesn't try to help every now and then. Like he sees someone being attacked by someone else, then yeah, I mean, it makes sense he would try to help if he could. But you're not going to see the Great Saiyaman or anything like that. So then comes the actual tournament where where they all participate. Do they go and participate in the tournament? Well, initially, I will say yes because I do believe that that Chi-Chi wants them so they can get some prize money for the house. And just to help them out. Even though I'm sure they've been managing okay, especially with Goku being alive. But the question also is raised: why didn't they do that before? Why haven't they been in any martial arts tournaments? The whole Cell games haven't been around for a while. The Cell games didn't happen, so the lack of a martial arts tournament hasn't been a factor. There has always been a martial arts tournament. So the question is, why haven't they been participating in this version? And I think it comes down to maybe two or three factors. Factor one is that none of them just felt the need. There hasn't been anyone really strong enough, and they're the only ones strong enough to challenge each other. B, they've been, particularly Chi-Chi, they've generally been okay, mostly. Like financially, they still struggle, sure, but they've generally been okay. But I think, honestly, the biggest reason would just be why they didn't participate and why they're participating now is curiosity factor. I mean, it's been 7 years. Gohan's in high school now. Chi-Chi maybe just like, look, I know that it's really just going to come down to you two, but we need the prize money, okay? So could you we need some money, we need some major income coming in here compared to what we really normally do. So could you go and participate, please? It's like, all right, sure. It's like, come on, Rad, this will be fun. Maybe we can talk to the other guys to come in. It's like, I suppose we could do that. So there you go. Raditz, Goku, Krillin, Yamcha. I think they all actually participate. Tien and Goten, obviously. Goten and Trunks participate. Now, is Goten stronger in this version than Trunks? That's tough because they both have father figures. But I will say yes, because Raditz is much less hell-bent on his son being, is the younger son of Kakarot also capable of turning into a super? He doesn't have the same pride as Vegeta does. He cares about his son. He wants his son to be great, a good warrior, but also a smart kid. He wants the full package for his son. So, but that being said, you still got Goku there able to train Goten, which really helps out a lot. And I'm sure they do like group training and all that every now and then. But ultimately, I actually do think Goten beats out Trunks. Barely, but he does. So you get the tournament. Obviously, Shin and Kibito are there. Now, most of your setups are basically the same with Yami. What was it? Pui Pui was his name? Not Pui Pui. That's the Bobby's minion. Puari? I can't remember his name. The fat guy that Krillin fought and gut checked. So yeah, that's the same. Piccolo wasn't out against the Supreme Kai is the same. And I do think Gohan Videl fighting Spopovich actually goes a lot worse because even though Gohan probably is likes Videl, she probably doesn't really think much of him. So the Videl Gohan thing is like, yeah, Videl actually gets her ass readily handed to her by Spopovich. But actually, I say that, it doesn't go as bad as you think because she saved herself from a knockout by flying. In this case, she'd get knocked out, and therefore she's nowhere near as in bad a shape this time. So she does walk away and, with a lot of being really banged up. Gohan also doesn't blow his cover or anything like that. Well, he's probably in some sort of disguise, but ultimately, whatever. He's like, yeah, they're going to find out anyway. So Kibito is up against Gohan. And here's the thing. They must have just assumed Gohan was the strongest. They just must have assumed that. Maybe because they were monitoring the whole Cell fight or something like that. But they are also capable of monitoring the other world and stuff. They're capable of monitoring it in just about anything given the opportunity. they had to have known that Vegeta and Goku were both stronger than Gohan at that time. So I'm wondering what the deal with what their interest with Gohan was. Either way, he's like, show me. He's like, transfer into a Super Saiyan. Yeah. And like I said, roughly speaking, like Cell Saga level, maybe. Because even though he hasn't been training anywhere near as fierce, he also has had constant training, even with his studying. Not anything fierce, but enough that he's grown solid. So while he's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of his Cell level, a Saga level, that's about where he's kind of capped off. He doesn't have Super Saiyan 2, so, they steal his energy. Remember, Gohan's full power when they stole his energy was about 50% of Majin Buu's power. So cut that in half, you're looking at about a quarter of Buu's power. They still steal it, and they head off to try to find them. Now, fortunately, I'm curious of why Goku didn't just instant transmission there. Like, boop. We must locate their ship. Oh, we can do that. And it's like, wait, what? And it's like, I got their energy. Hold on. Okay, they stopped. It's like, good. And this is the thing I don't understand. Like, why didn't they just do this? Like, plot holes. Like, we must follow them. It's like, yeah, we can just track their energy. Because they do, it's not very strong, but there is energy. So Gohan, so they're all just got a shoulder on Goku and just, boop, and just, hi there. But, yeah, Spopovich, you... How did you let them follow you? It's like, not really hard. Just track your energy. Yeah, well, it's good to meet you. I'm Supreme Kai. It's been too long. Tell me, how are all your other Kai comrades doing? Oh, I'm sorry. It's been so long I've forgotten. They're all dead. Deborah, why don't you entertain our friends while I go fill Boo up? And say, of course, little Bobbity. And they're just kind of staring at us like, you're joking, right? It's like, so who? And it's really one of those things where Shin's just like, it's like, Deborah, we must be careful. He's trickier than he looks. It's far more powerful than what we're prepared to face against. No, we got it. Because let's be honest, Shin's ability to grade strength is kind of bullcrap. Because he knew nothing of how strong Goku, Vegeta, Gohan were. He just did not get it. So I was like, Reds, you want it? Well, he does seem to be about as strong as Cell was, and that bastard nearly did put me down that when we fought. Yeah, I think I'd like the crack at him. It's like, oh, you'd like a crack at me, would you? That's funny. So tell me, Earthling, how do you wish to die? Well, first off, as he just transforms into a Super Saiyan, it's like, I'm not an Earthling. And he smacks Deborah around a little bit. Now, keep in mind, training-wise at Super Saiyan, it's not likely that Goku or Vegeta would have been able to straight out beat Deborah. Deborah is described as being the same strength as Perfect Cell. And Goku and Vegeta were stronger than Perfect Cell. They were stronger than Gohan was. In fact, Goku, we do have an official power level of Goku and Deborah from the meter that Babidi was using. Goku was 3,000 killies, was it? And I believe Deborah is 4,000 killies, which theoretically, if you just want to translate that into the power level standard numbering, that's probably billions. So looking at 3 or 30 billion versus 4 or 40 billion, but then Goku Super Saiyan 2s and doubles that. So there's kind of like your parameters right there. Now, fortunately, Goku and Raditz are stronger than their counterparts, so he's probably able to manhandle Deborah pretty handily just in Super Saiyan. It's like, is that really the best you have? And Deborah's just, no, this is the best I have. And then he gets hit by this. It's like, that's disgusting. It's disgusting. You really are vile, demon. I'll end this. And as he's pointing his hand, he starts like, what is this? A little trick of mine. Mine that you weren't expecting, was it, Saiyan? And he's like, no, Reds! It's the boy. It's one of his abilities. He's got spit, and Krill's like, he's got spit that can turn us to stone? What the hell? No, then. And I believe Deborah, I can't remember if Deborah had a sword. I know he can make a spear, but I can't remember if he had a sword. But I'm going to say he has a sword, because demons can kind of do that. He pulls out a sword, it's like, well, now say goodbye. And then Goku's there, and he's like, he's just like, and Deborah can't even move, and Goku's just staring him down. He's actually in Super Saiyan 2 at this point, just, and Goku's quickly grabs him by the mouth. It's like, yeah. Tell me, Spring Kai, if I kill him, will that restores my brother? He's like, it couldn't hurt. He needs to die regardless. He's too dangerous. He's like, and to be fair, Goku normally isn't that cold, but Raditz has turned to stone, and he's learned to tap a little bit into that true do what needs to be done attitude. So he's like, yeah. I think we can take that chance. And then just blast Deborah's. Deborah's just like, and tries to blast Goku point blank, but as Super Saiyan 2 in this form, he's not really taking much damage, even point blank. Just, and then just boom, blast Deborah's head clean off. Just, and sure enough, Raditz quickly just, what happened? Yeah, funny thing. And meanwhile, Bobby's filled up Manji was like, quarter of the way, not bad. Let's see how Deborah's doing. My Deborah, no! It's like, we're coming for you next, Bobbity. It's like, And so, that's where we're leaving part 8. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, who wants to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win. Star Wars, Super Magic, what if, anything you do on the channel. Put that in the comments below. Let me know. I could do that at some point. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.